Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever felt like your city is literally working against you? You know the feeling. Traffic jams, delayed trains, those endless lines at government offices. Well, today we're unpacking a massive, truly fascinating report from PwC that predicts the end of those exact frustrations. We're talking about moving away from cities that are just smart to urban ecosystems that are actually thinking, adapting, and fundamentally changing how we live. Let's get right into it.
Here is our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to break this dense framework down into 5 parts: beyond the smart city, the anatomy of a thinking city, the real-world model cities, the human element, and finally, the roadmap to tomorrow. It's basically an evolutionary journey into tomorrow's living cities.
Section 1. Beyond the Smart City. Let's dive right into this first chapter and look at the massive paradigm shift at the very heart of this PwC report. To really grasp the shift, look at how Hazem Galal from PwC describes the future. He sees a vision where cities become not just smart, but sentient. Think about that for a second. We're no longer just laying down concrete grids and slapping up basic traffic sensors. We're talking about organic ecosystems that actively perceive, feel, and respond to their environment. Honestly, it's a lot like a living organism.
So, what does a cognitive city actually look like for you and me? Well, it acts as a living brain. By harnessing data, artificial intelligence, and cognitive computing, it doesn't just react to a water leak or a traffic jam after it happens. It proactively learns and adapts. Imagine a city that analyzes weather patterns and foot traffic to adjust streetlights, or routes autonomous public transit to busy corners, or even optimizes the heating in public buildings before you even realize you're cold. It delivers personalized services entirely on its own. The real leap here happens when we contrast where we've been with where we're going. For the past decade, we've focused heavily on smart cities, but let's be honest, they are fundamentally reactive. A smart city gives you an app to check bus times, or it uses siloed data to manage a single utility. It essentially waits for you to push a button. But a cognitive city? It's entirely proactive. It shatters those data silos, cross-references your transit data with the energy grid, and uses generative AI to act on your behalf without you ever having to open an app. Moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of a Thinking City. Let's see how this actually builds into a concrete architectural blueprint for city planners. PwC breaks down the city's brain into 6 structured layers. It's kind of like building a house. You can't just sprinkle AI onto a city like decorative paint and hope it works, right? You have to start at the top with clear cognitive city ambitions. What are the overarching strategic goals? Then you cascade down into the specific cognitive services, the sectoral solutions, and the cross-sectoral digital platforms, tying it all together. Finally, you hit the foundation, the foundational digital infrastructure and the core enablers that actually power the whole shebang. If those strategic layers are the brain, well, these are the technological senses and reflexes. Data is the lifeblood flowing through the system, orchestrated for reasoning. Then you have artificial intelligence acting as the visual cortex, processing real-time data to identify patterns instantly. The next-gen infrastructure provides the high-speed nervous system, transmitting all those signals. And finally, autonomous systems act as the muscles. They work at lightning speed without human intervention, flexing to reroute emergency vehicles during a crisis or optimize our energy grids during a massive storm.
Section 3. The Real-World Model Cities. To prove this isn't just science fiction, let's look at the real-world pioneers building this cognitive infrastructure today.
We can divide these real-world models cleanly into 2 approaches, greenfield and brownfield. Greenfield cities, like the Line in Saudi Arabia or Tolosa in the USA, are built from the dirt up. They have a massive advantage because cognitive design is baked right into their DNA from day one. Brownfield cities, on the other hand, places like Barcelona, Seoul, Helsinki, Hong Kong, or Singapore, have a much steeper hill to climb. They face the monumental task of revitalizing and upgrading historic, centuries-old streets with next-generation tech. For instance, take a look at a brownfield pioneer like Seoul. They are actively dissolving the barrier between the physical and the digital. By building Metaverse Seoul, a virtual replica of the city, citizens can actually handle administrative functions, engage with public services, and interact with the government directly in a digital twin world. This isn't just a gimmick, folks. It dramatically reduces physical wait times at government offices and breaks down accessibility barriers for residents who might otherwise struggle to commute. On the greenfield side, the ambition is just staggering. Take the Line in Saudi Arabia. It's designed to house 9 million people across a 170-kilometer stretch entirely with a zero-carbon footprint. But the cognitive aspect is what's truly mind-blowing. It unites AI, robotics, IoT, and blockchain to customize services, and it's designed to analyze over 90% of all city-generated data. By doing this, it aims to predict the exact needs of both the environment and its residents, providing a radically personalized living experience.
And these use cases expand far beyond just daily convenience. They are tackling critical survival and efficiency challenges worldwide. In agriculture, China is optimizing crop yields using AI management systems. Japan is combating severe labor shortages by adopting autonomous robotic systems for seeding and harvesting. Meanwhile, in Europe, countries like Finland and the Netherlands are revolutionizing sustainability, using advanced computer vision in waste management to automatically sort and recycle materials at speeds no human could ever match.
Section 4. The human element. Because, as you might guess, all this incredible technology is entirely useless without the most complex variable in the urban ecosystem, us. I actually want to pause here for a second because this is arguably the most important takeaway of the entire framework. Non-technological enablers are actually the hardest hurdles to clear. You could have the most advanced AI in the world, but if you don't have visionary leadership, robust regulations protecting personal data, and most importantly, citizen engagement, the entire system is going to fail. A cognitive city requires open dialogue and co-creation with its residents. Why? Because trust is the ultimate currency. Without the citizens' trust to share their personal data, the city's brain simply cannot learn. Which brings us to our final chapter, Section 5, the roadmap to tomorrow. How do we actually pull this off responsibly? Well, building this requires an intricate, collaborative dance where every single gear in the machine plays a vital role. Regulators have to step up to define standards and provide infrastructure funding. Local governments act as the orchestrators of the ecosystem, defining the user journey. Then you have the private sector bringing the design and capital for these cognitive solutions. Academia pushes the boundaries by testing emerging technologies like generative AI. And sitting right at the center, citizens and NGOs voicing aspirations and providing essential feedback. If just one of these groups disengages, the whole cognitive city stalls completely. As we build this roadmap, we also have to weigh progress against some uncomfortable truths. First, a cognitive city absolutely must ensure service equity, meaning these amazing tools can't just be luxury upgrades for wealthy neighborhoods. Second, it has to fiercely protect our massive digital footprints from cyber threats. Third, because AI is involved, we have to actively mitigate algorithmic bias to prevent automated systems from making unfair decisions about things like housing or policing. And finally, digital literacy is a must, ensuring every single resident has the skills to actually participate as things move online. I'll leave you with this provocative thought as we wrap up this explainer. If tomorrow's city acts as a sentient, observing brain that constantly absorbs and adapts to our behaviors, what exactly is it learning from us? It is entirely up to us to ensure that we are feeding it data that reflects our very best traits, equity, sustainability, and community, rather than our worst biases. The cognitive city is coming. It's our job to teach it well.